What if the moment they finally looked broken was actually the moment you were in the greatest danger? The tears, the confession, the apology, the sudden honesty. It feels like the breakthrough you've been praying for. But sometimes, it's simply the most effective way to get your guard down. Because a narcissist doesn't always regain control through anger. Sometimes, they regain it through carefully performed vulnerability. And that's exactly what makes it so difficult to recognize. If you've ever found yourself saying, maybe they've finally changed. Maybe this time they really understand what they did. Maybe I should give them one more chance. You're not naive. You're responding exactly the way a healthy, compassionate person would. Most people believe vulnerability is a sign of honesty. Real vulnerability creates trust. Real vulnerability builds intimacy. That's how healthy relationships work. The problem is, manipulative people understand this too. And they know how to imitate it. This is where the trap begins. One of the most overlooked tactics in narcissistic abuse isn't rage. It isn't gaslighting. It isn't even love bombing. It's simulated vulnerability. Instead of attacking your boundaries, they quietly ask permission to walk through them. Think about the timing. 4 weeks. Maybe months. They dismiss your feelings. Blame you. Twist reality. Refuse accountability. Then, the moment you finally pull away, everything changes. Suddenly they're crying, sharing childhood trauma, admitting they aren't perfect, saying they know they have flaws. At first, it feels different. It feels genuine. But notice something. Their vulnerability almost always appears when they're losing control. Read that again. It isn't necessarily about healing. It's often about access. Here's what makes this tactic so powerful. They rarely confess to the thing that actually hurt you. Instead, they admit something smaller. I know I can be stubborn. I've made mistakes. I'm scared you'll leave. I've been through so much. It sounds like accountability. But listen carefully. They're revealing just enough to appear self-aware, without accepting responsibility for the deeper pattern. This creates emotional confusion. Because your brain thinks, if they can admit this, maybe they're finally changing. That's exactly what they want you to believe. The small confession becomes a bridge back into your trust. This is psychological sleight of hand. While you're focused on the confession, the manipulation continues untouched. Healthy people respond to vulnerability with empathy. That's not your weakness. It's your humanity. A narcissist knows this. So they weaponize your greatest strength. Instead of earning trust through consistent behavior, they manufacture intimacy through emotional performance. You stop protecting yourself. You begin explaining again, comforting again, hoping again. Meanwhile, nothing fundamental has changed. The cycle simply starts over. Not because the performance worked on logic, because it worked on your heart. Real vulnerability isn't measured by tears. It's measured by change. Anyone can cry. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can tell a heartbreaking story. But genuine accountability has evidence. It looks like consistency, respect, boundaries, honest self-reflection, change behavior over time. Without those things, vulnerability becomes theater. And theater can be convincing, especially when you've spent months hoping for exactly that moment. That's why survivors often describe feeling more confused after an apology than before it. The words finally sounded right, but reality never actually changed. This doesn't mean you should become suspicious of everyone who opens up. Real vulnerability exists. Healthy people share pain because they want connection. Manipulative people often share pain because they want control. The difference isn't the emotion. It's the pattern. Healthy vulnerability creates safety. Fake vulnerability creates obligation. Healthy vulnerability respects your boundaries. Fake vulnerability quietly asks you to abandon them. Healthy vulnerability accepts consequences. Fake vulnerability tries to erase them. That's the signal. Not the tears. Not the confession. The pattern. Always the pattern. One day you'll realize something that changes everything. The moment they seemed the most emotionally open may have been the moment they were most carefully performing. Because true vulnerability doesn't ask you to ignore your instincts. It doesn't pressure you to forget your boundaries. And it never requires you to sacrifice your peace to prove your compassion. The most dangerous mask isn't always confidence. Sometimes, it wears tears. And that's why the strongest boundary you'll ever build is learning that not every confession is a doorway to trust.